a big problem I face with my kiddos is I mostly use my iPads mostly as extensions. So during our math time, we go ahead and use it for extensions. Depending if we're teaching operation, subtraction, addition, they have to find those apps. Or if during grammar time we're going to go ahead and use it, I want them to use where they can build words and build sentences and use the right conventions, capitals, and punctuation. So my kiddos had a big problem finding the apps. So this is how most of our apps look like, our iPads, and it's just a mess. And they click on stuff, and it's like a mess. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and I organized my iPad to look like this. So all my kids see is 4 folders. I have books where they only go ahead and can access different stories. They can listen to stories, read along with stories. If they don't know a word, they can click on the word. And I have, these are all the apps that have stories in them. The Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, Arthur Green, Reading Rainbow. They're just stories that kids can enjoy during reading. I've also went ahead and made a reading folder where it's more like a phonics. And I put all the tools that they can use during our vocabulary time, during our phonics time, as center extensions. They can go ahead and use these apps. I went ahead and also created another folder for operations when we're just working on word problems, math facts, addition, subtraction. They're math bingo games, and these are really good tools, but they're all organized so the kids know. When we're working on operations, these are the only extensions they're allowed to use. And I went ahead and created a place value one where we're only working on components that are building numbers, decomposing and composing numbers. And I went ahead and put in some of the kinder ones for some of the lower levels where they're only building numbers to 10 with 10 frames. And I created a writing section where they can go ahead and create just stories. They use the notebook when we play past the iPad. So every table gets 1 iPad, since we have 6, and you just go ahead and make up stories. So one kid will write 1, the other kid will write day, and you can go ahead and write there. We also have the ABC tracing, word wizard that Jesus talked about yesterday. I use a lot during our grammar time. So it makes it a lot easier for kids to know exactly what they need to be doing when they are done with their work. Everything else that I wanted, I just kind of stuck in another page, and then that's it. There's nothing else that they can be clicking and picking on, which has helped. To create a folder, all you have to do is push on a little button, and when it jiggles, you go ahead and stick it on top of another. So if I wanted to do those together, you go ahead and create a folder. You just name that folder. It's just like extras. And just click done. And created a folder. You just click it back, and every time you want to add things into that folder, you can just drag and stick it in there. And you can create your folders. So and that's how I went ahead. I created an easier way to organize them. Since there are so many apps, I went ahead and I put all my folders here at the bottom. So when I was adding things to my folders, everything was here at the bottom. So I didn't have to be dragging them across the pages. I put all of my folders at the bottom. And then once I had everything at the bottom, I just went and I slid everything to its appropriate folder. It did take a lot of time to see what the apps were and what their best function would be based on the subjects and content being taught. But it has made it a lot easier for my kiddos to know exactly what to do. And I went ahead and I also deleted a lot of things that I didn't want to. I used to have a folder named Free Choice, but my kids would use that in inappropriate times. So I just deleted everything in that Free Choice folder because they're free choices, but and academic content. So that's how I create folders, and it makes it easier for my kiddos to find what we need to do.
Is it so can you talk about deleting, like what Joseph told you about deleting? Because people are afraid to delete apps because they're worried they'll go away forever. Right?
Yeah, well, I was talking to Joseph and Jesus, and they were like, if you just delete something, it's no big deal. You can get it back whenever you want. But I just went ahead and deleted a whole bunch of things that I didn't find possible. And I also created I called it photography, and it's just a folder that kids won't use, but it's just a bunch of apps that I don't want kids touching and playing with, so I just stuck everything in there. Like my FaceTime, my camera, all that stuff. I just stuck it in a folder so they wouldn't.
Something that's
You-
not boring.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes, yeah.
And why doesn't it, the newsstand, like if you're trying to move that one or put something else on, why wouldn't it let you do anything with it?
I noticed that I had the same problem. I couldn't stick the newsstand in a folder, so I just leave it on a separate page. It just doesn't have an X, so you can't erase it, and it just doesn't move. So.
There's certain
Yeah.
apps that are a part of the operating system.
Yes, like the calendar is another one where you can't stick in folders or delete it. It's just part of the app, I guess, function.
And do you teach your kids like, or do you just prompt them verbally like, okay, you know, when you're done, you're gonna use the books folder, or how do they know like which folder they should be
I always
looking at?
tell them, like, your first step, put your name and date, and I put step 2, complete center number, like whatever graphic organizer they're working on. Step 3, neatness and illustration. Step 4, books. And if you know it's books, they can only read my books. If there's apps, iPads available, they can use iPads. Or if it's for math, I'll go ahead and put finished worksheet, name, date, complete worksheet, and then I'll put like step 3, operations, extensions, because I have bingo games where they use roll the dice, and I have all these other games that they can use in the classroom that are hands-on. But if they get an iPad, they can also work on operations as an extension. So my kids know exactly what they need to do. Yes, ma'am.
So when we delete folders that we don't want the kids to use, it's okay to delete those?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it'll get reprimanded for it.
Yeah, because they're associated with the account that we have here, so we can always put them back on the iPad if you want them back.